Something I try to live by is this too shall pass. That's good and bad. The good will pass, so live in the moment. The bad will also pass, so wait for it to move on.
My name is Vander Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. So it started with a piece of popcorn. And as Nicole said at the beginning of the episode, live in the moment. I lived in the moment for the last 3 hours with a little bit of concern, stress, and a crying kid. You see, in the boredom of watching his television shows, he decided it would be interesting to shove a piece of popcorn up his nose. My wife and I tried frantically to remove said piece of popcorn, and then we realized we have to go and seek medical attention. In fact, I was readying myself for a long, long night.
My name is Nicole Gundelfinger. I am a 30-something female living in Johannesburg, South Africa. Born and bred here, but have grown up absolutely loving travel and spending as much time and money as I can overseas. I currently head up group marketing for Cash Converters Southern Africa. It is 26 years old in this country, but over 30 globally. Vanna and I first met when I was working at TBWA Tequila. I remember that we had an instant friendship. It was just one of those meetings where I guess the chemistry was right. I was pretty young, wet behind the ears. Wayne was old and very grey with very long hair. And he taught me a lot. I remember the transition that I went through during tequila was to realize that it wasn't actually important what other people thought about what I did for a job or where I worked, as long as I was making a difference in my life and in other people's lives, and doing something that I loved and that got me out of bed every day. So what have I learned about myself during this apocalyptic experience? I say apocalyptic because it really does feel like the end of everything as we know it. And I don't think that that's actually a bad thing. But it has been a time of very strange introspection. I guess living within the same four walls for 65 days will do that to you. So for those of you who don't know, South Africa's had one of the strictest lockdowns in the world. It's also got some of the strangest conditions. And as we start to head out of lockdown after 65 days, 65 long days, the T's and C's that the government is applying seem to be completely random and arbitrary. Funny example, commercial airlines are now able to fly domestically. They can fly at 100% capacity, no social distancing. But the buses that are used to transport people from terminals to the aircraft need to operate at 70% capacity. So it's things like that have just totally blown my mind. And as a previously incredibly patriotic South African, that's been very, very sad for me. The experience of living through South Africa's lockdown and watching the regulations lift, they've unbanned alcohol but not cigarettes, and they're restricting the hours that you can buy alcohol, which seems to me to be totally bizarre. You're encouraging people to queue up cheek to jowl for limited times during the week to purchase alcohol, but we're not comfortable selling cigarettes under the guise of health risk. So, I mean, those are two really stupid examples, but I think what it has done overall is challenge my perception of, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? BC, before Corona, we definitely had the best opportunities and access compared to anywhere else in the world if I chat to my mates who live overseas. And I absolutely love living here. I love the life I've built here. But Corona has made me question that. I'll reiterate, I don't think it's better anywhere else in the world. I think it's different. But is it maybe time to start thinking about what trade-offs I'm willing to make and which difference I'm prepared to live with? For me, that's been absolutely heartbreaking to go from being the most patriotic, gung-ho, pro-South Africa to thinking that maybe there might be the end of the road coming up. And so that's the negative. And this experience has taught me that I made 100% the right choice when I left one of those big brands to join Cash Converters. I have absolutely loved it. It's been a great experience, to use the latest buzzword, pivoting. To watch our business literally change on its head overnight has been incredible. We have moved at speed and pace to fundamentally change the way our business operates. Bringing a franchise network along the journey has been absolutely incredible. What I realized out of that experience is that I'm actually more adaptable than I ever thought I was. I always imagined that I would be that person stuck in routine, rigid. I like things to be done a certain way, on a certain schedule. And I always imagined that if my life was turned upside down and inside out, I would really struggle to adapt. What a pleasant surprise that it hasn't been bad at all. And I've really enjoyed working from home. I've enjoyed embracing video technology. I've enjoyed learning not to be in an office. And I think I'm more productive and more useful than I ever have been in the past. I also realized that I'm a complete workaholic and how important exercise actually is to me. I need that break, I need the distraction, and I need a line between work and home because otherwise I run the risk of completely losing any form of balance. I've also realized who's important to me, and I have realized that you don't need physical space to be close to someone. I have been very surprised with the people I've stayed in touch with and the people I haven't. It's a huge effort, funnily enough, to stay in touch with people when you don't have dinner arrangements or a coffee date or a drinks plan. And that's been really cool to see who my nearest and dearest actually are. I have reconfirmed the fact that an animal and a pet is the best thing in the world. My cat has been in lockdown with us, and that warm furry body is one of the best things in the world. I have always loved animals, and I've realized renewed and afresh just how important they are to people. And I think the biggest takeout of all of this is that the world is completely disruptive. The world is on its head. Nowhere in the world has really handled this particularly well. I don't think anybody's been prepared. A lot of people have been caught with their pants down, so to speak. Global leaders not really doing a great job leading. And that kind of counteracts my disappointment in the South African leadership because no one's actually got it right. So I think change is good and change is painful, and maybe what Corona has done is turn the world around and allowed people to reset and throw away the old rules, and with a bit of pain, hopefully we're going to come out the other side as a world, as human beings, as societies, better than we went in.
Thanks, Nicole. And as you mentioned, everything shall pass, even a small piece of popcorn. So I just got back from a visit to the doctor's office, and to tell the truth, the whole adventure ended in about half an hour. We had to wait outside. My wife and my son had to go in because they have certain restrictions on too many people entering the building due to our little state of pandemia. And I was expecting not to see them for quite a while. I think it was about 15 minutes, and my son walked out with a big smile on his face and also a little toy he received. Now, I wish you all the best with all your challenges. For some of us, it's a pandemic. For others, they're basic human rights. And then for the few, like me, it's a small piece of popcorn. Thanks for listening.